Hey guys, and welcome back to another plan with me for the month. This week, I'm gonna do a little bit more of a functional planning routine as opposed to just like my pretty card, right? So as you may or may not know, I am a busy mom of two and I run a six-figure business online. I think is important to clarify. I don't run a brick and mortar business. So when I'm doing my planning routine, I have the card, like the analog version, but then I also still have to have a digital version. And that's because once I am done momming in the morning and I have to sit down and do work, I'm not going to be looking at this deck of cards. I'm going to be looking at my Google Calendar because that's where my business runs, my team runs, all of those things. So I have to sort of have a balancing act of the two, where I have to have the version that works for my house and my home and my family, and then the version that works for me. I've been thinking about getting one of those skylight calendars, which is probably like what someone's going to comment below. But here's the thing, I don't really want all of the dings and the bells and the whatever when I'm not working, right? Because my business is a digital business online, I get a ton of digital messaging things. I'm on my computer or my phone a lot. I actually am purposely trying to not have a digital system when I'm offline. Today we're gonna dive in and just go through what I do when I'm doing both systems at the same time. Now I have this printout. If you want to get it, I will link below. It has my weekly planning routine when I plan for the week, and then when I'm doing a week and a monthly all in one. So this little fun guy I'm going to sort of go through while we're going. So super important, you'll see the very first thing on the list is to start your timer. And that's because for anyone who has any sort of ADHD tendencies like I do, if I start my timer before I start doing this, that little reminder really helps me to time how long this takes, so that when I tell my husband or I tell my kids, I just need an hour to plan the month, or I need 90 minutes to plan the month, or whatever, that number is accurate. It's really, it can be really frustrating to your family, poor time management, when you're saying it's gonna take me X, but you really have bad, like you have time blindness, right? Where you don't really know exactly how long it's gonna take you. So after you do this for a couple months, you'll get a pretty good gauge on how long it takes you. And then for like the weekly version, same thing. After you've done this for a couple months, you'll start to get a pretty good gauge on how long it takes, right? The very first thing you can see for the monthly plan is I check in on my quarterly goals and I see where we're at. Are we on track? Are we off track? How far behind are we? Where are we at? Like I just sort of get a lay of the land with my quarterlies, right? Then I look at the current week we're in and I see if there's any tasks that need to be moved to next week. So if you've seen any of my videos for the digital version, if I switch to the week, all of the things in gray have been done. So I just come like this. It's a little weird doing this on a computer because when I do it on my phone, it's a different button. So this I didn't do, so I just delete it. This was done. Everything that's gray was done. So any of these things that were not done, they just get moved. So I grab it, and if I can do this, it's not letting me. So normally I feel like it would let you, but because I'm on my tablet, it's being, so then I just move them to the next day. Okay. All right, so I know I got to get these done today now. So the same concept happens for the week. If anything on here is still colored, I know I didn't do it. So then I move it to the next week. All right, make notes on what worked, what didn't work, and what you learned from last week. Keep these notes in a safe place so you can continue to improve each week. So you could do two different ideas for this. Sometimes I'll write a card, right? Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just make a Google Calendar thing, like a meeting, and I'll write it in there. And then I can go back and see them all in here. You could put them in a Google Doc, whatever's gonna work for you to have it be a place you actually reference and go back to, okay? The worst thing you could do is spend the time thinking like what worked, what didn't work, and then you lose that piece of paper and you never reference back to it, right? Okay, so then I look at the next month and plan any big rocks first. So this is where I pull out like my school calendar. I check if there's any school things that need to make sure that they're on the calendar, okay? So I make sure they're here on this digital calendar that I'm taking time off. You can see like for September, there's the fair coming, there's early dismissal in a couple days, there's a date night for my husband and I, we have NASCAR in town, my birthday is coming up. So all of the things that are big personal items I put on here, and I put them on my index card that goes in my box, okay? So on this one, you can see I have Labor Day, no school, early dismissal, we have a fair coming up, that NASCAR early dismissal, parents night out, and then my birthday. So after I put all these important dates on here, I do put some like stickers and stuff to make it fun and decorating. And then this September card goes in my card box, okay? So this is the card that like the family references for things that are going on, right? And then this is the one I'm looking at when I'm working. On my digital calendar, I would also put anything that I'm doing for my, like any projects I need to do for goals I'm working on. Right now, I'm working on getting my next book launched. So I would put my book launch on this calendar so I know, okay, this is the week of, this is launch week. This is when the book's coming out, right? So then I can plan, reverse engineer all the steps that need to happen to make that happen, okay? So the next one is look at next week. That's a typo. Look at next week and plan your big rocks for the week. So because this is a weekly and monthly, what I would do is I'm kind of comparing, like squishing my weekly routine in with my monthly. So after the whole month is done, then I switch to just the week and I go look at next week and I say, okay, what's going on? And I plop in all the big things. So especially like any sort of really important tasks like the book launch, I would put those in here. Do I need to do anything? Do I need to check that the pages are live? Do I need to test that the first email went out? All those sort of things. When I did my weekly review of what worked and what didn't work, one thing I said that was not working is me leaving my end of week reporting and planning next week. I was leaving it to do on Sundays, and that was actually creating a huge mess for me because it wouldn't happen on the weekend. So I have to make time for that on the Friday. So that's when you put on all of your other, like your important things just for the week. Next is to collect all my to-dos and notes you have jotted down all over the place, and I add them into ClickUp. So I am a big note taker with my watch, where I'm on the go and I'll just say, hey, Siri, add this to whatever. And that really helps with how things will come in really quickly and I need to get them out really quickly and capture them. So I'll have notes in Siri. Sometimes I have notes on a notebook. Sometimes I have notes in Alexa. It kind of just depends on where I'm at that moment. So this is my reminder to go collect all of those things that you captured everywhere and put them all in one place. So if it's one thing to note is if it's a personal to do, it goes in here, right? There's actually some in here right now for like my husband. There's things in here that I'm asking him to do. His cards are the yellow ones. And then if it's a to do for work that I need to block out time for, it goes in my digital calendar, especially if I'm going to delegate it to a team member. It goes into, then it goes into ClickUp. I block my time off to get my actual tasks done. But then it goes into ClickUp. So that one can be a little bit rough, depending on, who's going to do what. I can't really give you a clear cut answer for this one because it does change a little bit based off of the type of project and who I might be delegating it out to. So what's missing? So this is when I will grab a timer, and then I have a little, where is it? I have a little trigger list. There's a little trigger list in here, but it's a list that reminds me of all the things I need to remember, like all of the things to remember. Hold on. Okay, I found it. So this is my trigger list, and it's a card that goes in my card deck, and it just reminds me of all the things that I could potentially need to put on this brain dump. So just like it says, it triggers your memory of, oh yeah, I gotta make sure I get that done too. This is where I brain dump everything that I possibly forgot to put on my list, right? And then I will block off time and put this in my schedule as well. or it will go in ClickUp, depending on where it goes. Then at the very end, I shut off my timer, right? I know it sounds silly, but I have to remind myself, okay? So at the end, when you're all done, you're gonna have your whole month like planned out, right? With like my digital system. And then I will have this cute little card on here for my card deck and then for my family. So if you've been curious about like, well, how do I use the cards when I'm a lot of digital base or I work from do a lot on my computer, this is how you marry the two, all right? So I hope that was helpful. Make sure you hit subscribe so you can be notified of all the other videos. I have some cool ones coming up about meal planning, getting up early to work on your business for your power hour, get your morning routine done. Some other ones about budgeting. So hit the subscribe button and I'll see you next time.